Good morning, good morning. Hey, I'm just grateful for another day. I tell you, you know, I'm blessed. And it's not because I'm wearing the shirt. I'm just blessed because you know what? It's just amazing to have a God that you can run to, a God that will comfort you, a God that will supply all of your needs according to his riches and glory, a God that distribute unlimited grace to his children. And I tell you, it's amazing that I serve a God like this. I'm just in a good place. You know, I may not be rich. I may not be, I even take that back. When you serve the God of the Bible, he will take care of you. So you in a good place. You may not have $1 billion to run and draw to your bank account, but trust me, God will give you all the things that you need. Now, I want to talk about three different individuals, right? The first individual is this one that has a desire to learn. You can debate with them. You may get into occasional arguments trying to explain things, but you even will come to a place where you agree sometimes just to disagree. Or not, I don't even like that statement too much, but you just like, okay, let's do this another day, but you leave off with that individual with good attitude. You know, there's no animosity. You may be disappointed that you couldn't get your point or convince the person, but at the end of the day, you two have a good attitude towards each other. And you two are learning and growing. So as you debate, they're able to grasp some of the things you're saying. And sometimes it may not make sense today, but tomorrow you'll find it that, man, this person come to you and say, you know what you said yesterday or what you said a year ago, what you said 10 years ago, makes sense. And thank you. Then you have the second. So that first individual, you both are growing in a logical mindset, able to talk out topics and argue topics out and come to a conclusion where you both still love each other, even though you may not fully agree with each other today. But tomorrow you may. Then you have the individuals, like people on The View, at least I say 99% of the people on The View, who God could, hat is a little crooked, okay, there it goes. God could write the answer in the sky, and they still can't see it because they are blind to truth. Because, listen, according to the Bible, so a man thinketh, so is he. You keep feeding your mind with illogicalness, with stupidity, you're going to become that way. Just like the Bible said, a wise man take correction and become wiser. So when you take correction, you don't get foolish, you get wiser. So the more you invest in proper reasoning, logical thinking, absolute truth, basically the more you invest in the scripture, the smarter you get. You may not gain knowledge to become an engineer or a doctor, but you'll gain knowledge in how to please God and how to get along with your neighbor. So, and then you have the third individual where they will understand what you're saying, but do the total opposite. Like they'll say, yes, This party over here is the party that started slavery, is the party that deceive us, yes, but I'm going to vote for them anyway. That, all right, at least they get that part. At least they can see where you're coming from. They may do the total opposite, but at least they can see. Because they're more emotional, an emotional thinker. Yeah, this is true, but I feel I should do this. Then you have, so you have those three individuals. Now we're going to see this kind of mindset plays out. You have Dr. Phil, who see facts and applying that kind of truth to what he's seeing in the government. For example, you may have a person who come to you and say, listen, according to science, this is what a male is and this is what a female is. We see it clearly in the Bible. But I am a they. Okay, this is what a female is, this is what a male is, according to science. But okay, so for example, if you have a child that is a they, if they die and no one knows who this person is, according to science, according to your emotional thinking, how would you, if you should apply your emotional reasoning to DNA, to dental record in order to find out who this person is, how would they come up in their DNA? How would you reason that out? So, again, certain people you just have to tell things and walk away. Certain people you can reason things out and have a logical debate. I don't like to argue, like fight, where it get aggressive. I don't like that. Then you have those who, hey, it's true. According to science, according to the Bible, there's only male and female, but I'm a they. I'm just going to be that. That's what I feel. So, all right, at least you acknowledge this part. So let's look at Dr. Phil on The View.
Well, Dr. Phil, I want to make sure we get to your new book, which is We've Got Issues. And a lot, you were referring to it in the last segment, how much has changed since you first got started in this. And one of the things is social media. So you say you're not the only voice in your kids' ears, so you have to be the best voice. Explain that.
Well, think about it. In like 08, 09, smartphones came on, and kids they stopped living their lives and started watching people live their lives. And so we saw the biggest spike and the highest levels of depression, anxiety, loneliness, and suicidality since records have ever been kept. And it's just continued on and on and on. And then COVID hits 10 years later, and the same agencies that knew that are the agencies that shut down the schools for 2 years. Who does that? Who takes away the support system for these children? Who takes them away and shuts it down? And by the way, when they shut it down, they stopped the mandated reporters from being able to see children that were being abused and sexually molested, and in fact sent them home and abandoned them to their abusers with no way to watch, and referrals dropped 50 to 60%. So
there was also a pandemic going on, and they were trying to save kids'
lives. Remember, we know a lot of folks who died during this. So it wasn't, people weren't laying around eating bond, but, well, you know what? We're lucky. Maybe we're lucky they didn't, because we kept them out of the places that they could be sick, because no one wanted to believe we had an issue.
Are you saying no school children died of COVID?
I'm saying it was the safest group. They were the less vulnerable group, and they suffered and will suffer more from the mismanagement of COVID than they will from the exposure to COVID. And that's not an opinion, that's a fact.
Well, Phil, we don't even have time to talk it out now, man. But thanks for coming. The new book is called We've Got Issues, and it is out tomorrow.
Yes. That's, you know what? Check that book out. I would read that. I definitely would. Now, let me bring that book back up. By Doc. Now, okay, Whoopi, quick to cut Dr. Phil off. Now, what we know about Whoopi Goldberg is that good actor, but her reasoning skill is like maybe a 2-year-old when it comes to people, dealing with people, reasoning out policies. She's pure emotional. One day will be this, the next day will be that. And it's sad that people think people like this represent the black community or Americans who are black. No. I'll watch her in a movie, but I won't, when it comes to policies and the government and slavery and all of this, Whoopi should stay away from those things because you're plain out foolish. You don't reason right. On top of that, she's a rejecter of God, so I'm not surprised. And you see, she fall into the category of people that you tell. Like you say, this is what the fact is. And then leave. Don't reason with her. Don't debate with her. Because you're not going to get away. The Bible said don't throw your pearls to the swine. Because if you take your precious pearl and you give it to a pig, do you think they're going to value that? No. Same. You don't take your precious wisdom and give it to a person like Whoopi and many of the others on The View. Because they're foolish. They're going to take what you say and crush it or throw it in the trash because they don't value wisdom. They don't even know how to use it. They probably don't even know what that is. And that is why when you look at these people, even sometimes personal life, not all the time, they can't keep their marriage. Their children are out of control and name it because they don't have proper reasoning skills. They can't logically articulate a proper conversation. Not all, but some. Like Whoopi. And Joy, I don't remember her last name because I don't watch The View. So there's certain people, again, that I stay away from. I just tell them truth, and whether they want it, they either take it or leave it. I'm not going to be around to see what they do. Then there's certain people I could sit back and reason with and talk with, like Candace Owens or Ben Shapiro or whatever, Jordan Peterson. You could even Jesse Peterson. You could sit down and reason and talk with. And then there are certain people I will talk with too who you can reason things out and they'll see it, but emotionally they're going to do the total opposite. And that is why when people say, I can't understand why they won't listen. It's like saying to a blind man, you didn't see the bird that flew past your eyes? No, he didn't or she didn't. But you could see it. Praise God for that. You could have been one of them. I could have been a Whoopi if I rejected wisdom, if I rejected God. So now, the older I get, I'm 47 years old, and the older I get, the more I realize that, man, I don't have time to debate foolish people. I don't have time for that. But I want to enjoy the people, them that you can reach and people you could reason with. Sometimes you may not come to a full agreement, but you respect each other at the end of the day. Hey, peace out. And if you haven't liked and subscribe and comment on the videos, please do so. And make sure your dependency is clearly on Jesus. Don't want to be long-winded, but this song here, let me see if I can pull it up.
And it is out.
Hold on there. We got enough of that. It's an old song. I think back from the 90s. I love this song. This is an old song. But let's see. I'm just going to play a little bit of let me start and stop it so I don't get penalized.
For fear, this is a time for faith and determination. Don't lose the vision here, carried away by the motion. Hold on to all that you hide in your heart, 'cause there is one thing that has always been true. It holds the world together.
This is a
God is in control. We believe that His children will not be forsaken. God is in control.
We will choose to remember and never be shaken. There is no power above or beside Him, we know.
God is in control.
Used to sing that as a kid, man. And I'm still, when we used to be in the youth group, I just like to tell you, that song still hit right here and just remind me that it's not Joe Biden, it's not The View, it's not Kamala Harris, and I love Donald Trump, I love Biden too. You know, God called us to love everybody, and I love Kamala Harris, and I love Trump, but I also would love Trump as a president. But I'm still reminded that God is in control. And God had to show Nebuchadnezzar that by giving him a heart of a beast. And he was eating grass like a cow for 7 years. God is in control. Peace out. Love you guys.